Welcome to the fastest daf in town. Today, Masechtas Menachos daf Ayin Hey. We are going to begin on Ayin Daled Amud Beis by the Mishnah at the bottom. The Mishnah tells us, Kol HaMenachos Hanasos B'Kli. Anytime you have a mincha in which we put into a kli, to unos shloishim atanos. There's 3 times in which you need to do an application of shemen, of oil, and they're called yitzika, pouring, belila, the mixing of it, umatin shemen bekli, as well as putting oil into the kli, kaidem le'asiyasa. Now, Rashi explains this in better detail. He says like this: Shebetchila hayanoisen hashemen bekli, kaidem le'asiyasa. The first thing you do, like when you want to make eggs, you put some oil into the pan first. So that's what you do. You start off by putting oil the first time. That's we can call that the matin shemen bekli kaidem le'asiyasa. Yachach noisen alav hasaylas, and then you put in the flour. V'chayza noisen shemen. So the second time you now put in oil, uboil shemen, and there you do that to mix it up. You'll mix the oil. It's almost like a sandwich. So oil, flour, then oil. Then you start doing a mixture, which we call belila. And then v'chayza noisen hashemen, and then we put in oil again after it was mixed. L'kay mitzvah siyasika. So it's like you just poured it. So Rashi points out, ma'afi tanur, when it comes to the mincha, which is called the ma'afi tanur, or the oven, she'in kol ma'aseh, since we're not only using a kli, we also put it into an oven, sharing the efes b'tanur into an yasika. So you don't need the third time of yasika. Avol idach bez matanos sricha. You still need to do the other 2. So you put the oil in, you put in the flour, you put in the oil a second time, mix it, but you will continue then to put it into the oven, so you don't require the extra yasika. Okay. So then the Mishnah continues, Chalois boilun divrei Rabbi, that after the challah is baked, so we're boila. So Rashi says, when it comes to the chalois of the minchas ma'afe tanur and the machvas marcheshes, boilan b'shemen. So we put oil on it. L'achar shenasu chalois, after it's challah. L'yachar fia. So after means it's after baked. So we put oil there. Chachamim say that you actually put the oil on not after, but rather at the time when you like mix it together before it was baked. Hachalos to unos belila, v'rakikin meshicha. So when it comes to chalos, you need belila, as we said, like mixing it. However, rakikin, the wafers, meshicha, all you do is you smear it with the oil. Keitzad moishchan. So how do you exactly smear it? So it's kamin ki, just like the ki in Greek, which is Rashi explains that's the shape in which you would put the oil on. Bishar, it's actually like a test for us. Okay, V'hashar nechol kohanim, and everything else is eaten by the kohen. So now let's see the Gemara. So lemuti mai. Well, we already alluded to this. We said there's 3 matanos, but they're excluding a certain mincha. So Amar Papa, lemuti minchas ma'afe. As we said, when it comes to minchas ma'afi tanur, so in that situation where it's in the kli and in an oven, right? It's in both. So therefore, because of that, you don't do yasika. Okay, let's look at question 7. Kol menachas nasas b'kli tunos shoshim matanos shemenis u'mincha inu tun nasas b'kli v'kama matanos. So minchas mafi tanur shricha beis matanos matin shemen b'kli kaidem la'asiya u'b'lil v'inser chisika. Of course, there's a kli, but we also use the oven. Okay. Tanaban. So the pasuk says, "V'im minchas marcheshes karbanecha." Let's say the mincha is with a marcheshes pan. Soilus b'shemen tasa. So you're supposed to use flour. That teaches us that you need to put oil into the kli. Karbanecha gzer shava. So we learn out the word karbanecha by the machvas as well as the marcheshes to tell us gzer shava. So we continue to ayin hamad aleph. Makan matan shemen bekli. You put the oil in there because the pasuk says explicitly soyos b'shemen tiasa. So avahon matan dam bekli. Malahon yitzika b'lila. Avkan yitzika b'lila. So therefore, through gzer shava, that teaches us you have to do it 3 times. Chalois boiluan. They were Rabbi Chachamim Oimrim soylos. Tanaban. The pasuk says soylos belula. So malamid shnivlelas soylos. So according to the Chachamim, it's mixed with oil this second time. So again, you mixed it, and then the third time you put it on. Rabbi Omer Chalois. So this is the second time. Rabbi Omer Chalois boilan. Actually, you put it when it's already challah and it's crumbled. Shenemer chalos beluois. It already says only while it's challah. So Omer lo v'loi lachmi taiden nemer behen chalois. We know when it comes to the 40 breads of the Toda, it also says the word chal. It's not possible that you can tell me that you're going to crumble it like that. Keshin chalois elosoyos. Obviously, it's referring to while it's still flour. Ketzadaisa. So nice and shimon bekli, as we said in the Rashi before. You put the oil in the kli kaidam esiyos before anything. The nasna, then you put some oil in there, some flour in there. The nice and shimon, then you put oil on top. But you mix it up. Velasha v'oifa upaisasa. So according to this shita, you then knead it and bake it and then crumble it. A nice l'shem, and then you put oil there for kaimitz. Then you do the kamitza there. So Rabbi Omer chalois bayulan, that this is what you do. Shenemer chalos b'lois b'shemen kesadaisa. Nice and shemen b'kli. Again, you put in the oil first kaidam l'asiyas of anasna, and you then put it in this flour. The lush of alpha upaisis of a nice hashemen ubayula. So according to this shita, the second time you put in the oil is actually again only after it was baked. The chayiz v'nice Hashem, and then you put in oil another time. The kaimitz. So iyashed the karmule rabbanan l'Rebbe. So he says it's impossible to say this shita because regarding the lachmi taida. So Rabbi Mai, Somer Rabbi Shmuel, Bar Rabbi Yitzchak, Revi'ah Shemen he hech mischalekes lekamachalois. When it comes to a revi'as of oil, how are you going to be able to say it was divided up as such? Let's look in Rashi. Shaper ka'amri l'rabban l'Rebbe the taida iyavshel l'boilun chalos. It's impossible to break it up. Must be his flour. But who did lamachva so too comes to machas amarcheshes the nivlun soilus. That the right way of doing it is while it's still flour. So Amar Shmuel Amar Rebbe Shani Hasam b'Taida do Efsher Dervia Shemen. So he says when it comes to the Taida, it's impossible. The Efsher Dervia Shemen he kida Amran Chatzi Lug l'Taida Dahin Dervia Lug l'Chalos the Efsher l'Boylan Chalos. Aber Minchas Marcheshes Shein behen Chalos Kol Kach the Efsher l'Boylan. So maybe it's different. So you're right. There could be a difference between the practicality of a toda versus the mincha, the machbas marcheshes. All right. Hachalos teuna is belil or kikin meshicha. So he said the distinction is when it comes to challah. So the chalois you need to do this mixture, and the kikin, the wafers, you smear the oil like a chaf or our test. Tan rabbanan. Chalos b'lois v'lo rekikin b'lulin. The truth is, when it comes to challah, we only when it comes to challah we mix it with the oil, but not when it comes to rekikin we just smear it. So shach v'lodinu. You think maybe kavachar ma chalos she'ena tunas meshicha tunas belila. So we know that chalos don't require smearing, but they require mixing. So rekikin tunas meshicha eno densha tunas belila. Tomanomer chalos b'lulois, which is a mute. Only the challah do we mix. V'loi rekikin belulin. V'lo rekikin belulin. So only the chalos are belulois, but not the rekikin. So now you can say that question the other way around. Rekikin meshuchin v'chalos meshuchais. We know that we only will smear the wafers, not the chalos. But maybe shachavo dinhu. Maybe taka should also do smearing on the challah. After all. So even though it's true that the wafers, we do not do belilo with oil, but we do smear it, so chalos shatun and belilo, where we do require mixing, maybe we do require the spreading of the oil. So the pasuk is very clear that only when it comes to the rekikin do we actually smear. So my talmudah. So what is this that we are deriving from this? Rabbi lo lishtamit v'lichtel chalos meshuchais rekikin belulin. So says Rashi, the halol bolin v'lo elu embedu b'lolois atervayu. Maybe it's talking about both. So you say no, it can't be. That's what the pasuk is telling us. Says Rashi, Ella madichse belula b'chalos v'mashiach rekikin shvamino hachihu dadavka. It's specific to those actions to exclude the other one. Keitzad moishchin kimin chi v'hashar nechol. So my kimin ki, Amar Rav Kahana kimin ki yavni. Like this is again in Yavan in Greek. That is the shape that we're supposed to do the smearing of on the rekikin. Tanabanan mincha haba mexachalos u'mexa rekikin. Let's say you have a mincha in which you bring half of them as chalos, and the other half you bring as the rekikin. So maybe lug shemen. So you should take a measure of oil, the chutz ahu, and you should split it. Chatzav l'chalos v'chatzav l'rekikin. Half of the oil will go to the chalos, half of the rekikin. The chalos belul and the rekikin moishchen. As we said, the chalos will mix, and the rekikin, the wafers, we will smear the oil. U'moishach has harakik al pnei kulo, and we will smear the rakik on the whole thing. V'shar hashemen machzir l'chalos, and whatever oil you have left, you can bring it back to the chalos. Rabbi Shimon ben Yehuda mishum Rabbi Shimon Omer Moishchin Kiminchi Vashar Shemen Nechel Kohanim. So as a machlokus, if what we do with the extra oil in this case is it machzor l'chalos, or do we say that the extra oil is nechel kohanim? Tani idach rekikin haboyin bifnei asman. Let's say you have the wafers by themselves, so maybe lug shemen. Again, we bring the amount of oil u'moishchan. So as we do, we smear it. V'chayiz u'moishchan, we continue to smear ad sheyichla kol shemen mebelug until all of it's completely done. So there's nothing left. Rabbi Shimon Yehuda Omer mishum Rabbi Shimon Moishchan Kiminchi Vashar Hakshemen Nechel Kohanim. If there, we could still have leftovers, and that could be given over to the Kohanim. Okay. Let's see, maybe another question. Let's see a question over here. T.A. Chavdalit. Mincha haba mexel chalos mexel rekikin. Maybe look bechitzo chatzav l'chalos chatzav rekikin hachalos boil and rekikin moishchan ma'asa ima shemen shenishar. So what do we do with the leftover oil in this particular situation? So this is TA 24. So we brought ourselves a machlokas. Either we put it back into the chalos, or it's given to the kohanim. So it says here, Pluta the Tanoi, Rishim Yehudim, Rishim Shimon Rabbanan, Imachsul Chalos, Onechol Le Kohanim. So that's question TA 24. Question TB 27. Mincha B'Mlinis Ma'ois, and I wrote Machlokus O Kohanim Oichin O Chayzim Neisim L'Chalos, which is exactly right, which is Ayin Ham and Aleph, and that's TB 27. Okay. TC 20. Let's see. Kol menachos hanasos b'kli te'unu shloishim matana shemen yitzik b'luya matan shemen b'kli koydem es yasan. Eza mincha yotzis min klal zeh ve'ezu matana min shloisha enu ba. So this is really what we just saw over here, which was question 7. This is TC 20. So the difference is the ma'afi tanur. That's what I wrote. Menachas ma'afi tanur in oisin yitzika of oisin shtei pamim v'lo shalish. Okay, that's the correct answer. Ayin Daled Amud Beis. Okay, let's keep moving. Let's see the next Mishnah. Kol menachos anasos bekli tunos besisa. Anytime we have a mincha and we put it into a kli, so one of the requirements is that it requires besisa. It has to be crumbled, and the crumbling process has to take place before the kamitza is done. Fine. So, with that said, let's see the Gemara. So, imuti mai. What's that come to exclude? So, amar papa limiuti shtei lechem lechem aponim. When it comes to the shtei lechem and the lechem aponim, we don't do this. We don't do what? Says Rashi, she'ein nasin bekli, that they're not put into a kli, ela na'afus batanur. They're baked in an oven. She'ein tu'unin psisa, and therefore they do not need to be crumbled. Of a minchas ma'afei lo mamayit mipsisa. However, the minchas ma'afei tanur is not excluded. So it's only the shtei halechem, and the lechem upon him we don't do psisa. Tanabanan. The pasuk says pitais oisa pitim. They're supposed to basically break it up into little pieces. So this mincha. So it's a rambos kol menachos lepsisa. That when it comes to any mincha, you're supposed to break it up into pieces. So maybe we should include those as well. Talmud osa, only those to exclude those two. Yisakta shemen mincha, and you should do yisika, pouring oil onto it. Rambos kol menachos yisika. Every mincha we do yisika. Yachol shani marba av minchas ma'afei, as we said before. Maybe we'd include that. Talmud lemer aleha shemen oitzi es achalos lo oitzi es rekikin. 1 second. So Talmud lemer aleha. Fine. Shemen. So oitzi es achalos lo oitzi es rekikin. So we exclude the chalos, but not the rekikin. Talmud loimer he. So my Talmud. What does that mean? Ema lohaitzi minchas kohanim. Maybe it's coming instead to include the minchas, exclude the minchas kohanim, in which it's not eaten. So Omer Rabbi Ezu davar shasarach shnei muatin. Havi Omer zim minchas ma'afei. Says Rashi sheish bo shnei minim, because since the minchas ma'afei tanur has two elements and has both the chalos and the rekikin, therefore we need two separate miutin. It says Rashi hilchach k'mamamayit mahanach trei miute. It's coming to exclude those two things. Okay, let's see another Mishnah. Okay, which will bring us all the way to the bottom of the daf. Minchas Yisrael. So mincha of Yisrael, when we do a kamitza, so the din is that koifel, we break it into two, echel l'shnayim, v'shnayim l'arba, 2 into 4, like we fold it, umavdol, and we separate them. So the kamitza, in order to be able to do this, we actually break it up into these 4 parts. Now, minchas kohanim, which again is not either whether or not we're talking minchas kohanim of a chayte, in which there's no kamitza, or maybe it's done separately. So let's just say there's no kamitza at all, the whole thing's burnt. We will fold it into 2 into 4. We won't actually break it into 4 parts. Minchas kohen Mashiach, when it comes to the mincha of the kohen gadol, so that lo haya mekafla. That for whatever reason we don't do anything to it. We're not even going to. We're not going to even fold it. Shimon Omer minchas kohanim and minchas kohen Mashiach ein behen pesisa. We don't break it up into pieces. Because there's no kamitza. V'chol she'ein behen kamitza, ein behen pesisa. You don't need to do. Since if you don't need to do kamitza, which again you only do kamitza if there's shirayim which will be eaten by the kohen, but since the whole thing is going to be burned, as we said, so therefore by minchas kohen, it's completely burnt. So therefore there's no kamitza. There's no kamitza. There's no need to fold it into smaller pieces. There's no psisa either. The kulam paisis and kazesim, and that's the basic measurement of a kazayis. Tanurban says the Gemara. Pasai, so it says you're supposed to like break into small pieces. Yachol shnayim into 2 Talmud lemer pitim. So it sounds like double that, 4. So ipitim yachol yasin and perurin, make into tiny little pieces. Talmud lemer oisa, Oisa lupsisin v'lupsisa lupsisin. So basically, you don't have to keep breaking it up into tiny, tiny little pieces. It's just done as the Mishnah described. Haketzad minachas Yisrael kaifel echad l'shnayim v'shnayim l'arba. The four. Umavdil, then you separate it. Minachas kohanim v'koin Mashiach chayim mikapla b'chul, and we will fold that up as well. We don't have to break it up because it's not going to be there's no kmitza on it. V'honan tanan lo hayim mikapla. I thought we said we don't fold it. So Maraba in Makapul Arba, Makapul Shnayim. When it comes to the Minchas Kohen, we will only fold to two, not to four. Okay. Rabbi Shimon Omer, Minchas Kohanim, Minchas Kohen Mashiach, in Behem Psisa. We don't break into small pieces because there's no kmitza. So Rabbi Yosef, on a seemingly unrelated topic, which is Gemara in Brachos in the 6th parak, in case Mavarchim, it says as follows: Hai Chavitza. When it comes to this chavitza, this type of dish, this type of food. So the question is, and Rashi says, chavitza shel rikikin. Okay, on the side it says shikarin mifayrin b'toicha ilfis. You put into like a frying pan. This bread. Okay, so it's not really like bread completely, but it has a lot of characteristics of bread. So the east. But pirurin, because it's in pieces of kazayas, as long as it's at least the size of kazayas, Ilaisbahu pirurin, but it doesn't have, if it's not small little, it doesn't have the consistency of having the pieces of a kazayas. So that's the distinction. If the pieces are at least the kazayas, then you'll make hamotzi. If not, then it's a mezainis. Rav Yosef. So, how do I know that the kazayas is the cutoff point? Let's say you're in Yerushalayim, based on Mikdash, and you're bringing a carbon mincha. So you make the bracha of shechiyanu. So bracha you make, says Rashi, why? He never was makar carbon before. He was makar mincha, a new mincha, mincha. So so interesting. So you actually say you don't really realize this. We make a shachiyanu like a new mitzvah, a new we used to blow the shofar and Megillah. The truth is, the kohanim, if it's a once in a while thing, once a year, it says over here they're supposed to make a shachiyanu, which is pretty amazing. Let's say the kohen's about to eat this. So the kohen makes a hamotzi, right? He has to make a bracha on the food that he eats. So that's what he eats, and we know that v'tanan v'kolam pesisa b'kazayis. So this mincha, it's not really bread, but it's the size of a kazayis, and therefore the bracha is kazayis. Versus mashma, the bracha is a motzi because it's a kazayis. Versus mashma wasn't a kazayis, and obviously make a bracha, you make a mezainis. So that's the connection. Or milbai l'tanda de Rabbi Shmuel the Omer mifarchan. He actually says you should continue to crumble, which is not what we say in our Mishnah, until it's almost like flour, that's like tiny little pieces. So, is it true that according to him you don't make a hamotzi? Maybe Taki, they won't make a hamotzi because they're such small pieces, not the size of kazayas. Bosanya, likid makul and kazayas. If you gather from all of them, it becomes a kazayas. Va'achlu im chametz. Is im chamitzu and karis. If it's on Pesach, you ate it, so you're chayiv karis. Im matzahu adam yosei bechavasa bepesach. So how's that shaykh? So achamai skinan b'shirisan, that you put it into like one mass. So you basically broke it all up, and then you basically made it into one piece. So therefore, it became like one again. Yachi hainu detani Allah v'hu she'ochon b'chtechilas pras. You eat them. The b'shir son, if you actually put them all together, she'achlu boile. It shouldn't say you ate them, it should say ate it, right? So it's mashma, it's not like one piece. It came from a very long big piece, says Rashi, that when it says you break into small pieces, it means that it came from originally a very big piece. Says Rashi, a dayan who be'en hakikr shabo mimenu v'havi choshuv bar bracha. Because it came from a very big piece, it was a bar bracha who hilchach piruim nami. Even the small pieces are considered to be chashiv, and therefore you can make a bracha on them. That's on a typical like big piece of bread. But a mincha, when it's broken up and there's not much left, says Rabbi Nishtai mehen davar chashiv, Emocha Dev'inin Kazayas. So maybe in that case you would need a Kazayas. Okay. So my Hevel. So what's the bottom line? So Rav Sheshus Aimer Afilu Pirurin She'en Behen Kazayas. Even if it's not the size of a Kazayas, you could still make hamotzi on it. It has to be that it at least has the appearance of being like bread. Okay, we're going to stop there. Let's look at question 8. So it's a little confusing, like what's the correct answer? So this is what the bracha you make. So if the pieces are definitely kazayas, then there's no question you make a hamotzi. The question is, if the pieces are not the size of kazayas, there we have a machlokas, Rabbi Yosef, Rabbi Shimon, whether it's mizonos or hamotzi. However, this is only a case that maybe you'll make a hamotzi to equal teresa than a hama. It has to have the appearance of bread. If it doesn't have the appearance of bread and it's less than kazayas, everyone will hold you make a mizonos. So the only time you'll definitely make a hamotzi if it's a kazayas. If it's not the size of a kazayas, then when will you make a hamotzi? Only if it has teresa and a hama, according to one shita. Other shita says still you would only make mizonos. If it doesn't have teresa and a hama, there's no question there's mizonos. Okay, that's the answer. All right, let's maybe see another question over here. Question T25. We didn't do that. TB28. Same question. TC21. On Eze Shir Yochel Lifsais Hamanachais. I think this is the right answer. I wrote Ad Kazayas O Pachais. Because it is true. Because our Mishnah says, this is TC21. So our Mishnah says, TC21, that Bekulan Poisin Kazasim, right? So Zayas. But then there's this other Shita that says, let's see, Mefarchin ad Shechzirun, Mefarchin ad Shemachzirun L'Solasan. So I think that actually isn't so bad, right? All right, ad Sheach Ziroi L'Solasan. Adkan.